All right, it's important to let you know that these spikes are made in two pieces. So this side is one piece and this side is another piece. So you are going to make a total of 5 spikes, which means a total of 10 of these triangles. So just a heads up there. So I use the contrast color. Of course, this is your dinosaur. You can use whatever you like. Now it says to begin with 2 chains. So 1, 2. And we're going to put 2 single crochets in this second chain from the hook. So we're going to put in 2. 1, and 2 in the same space. Vinny. Okay, and that's row 1. Now row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of the 2 stitches we've got here. So 1 and 2, and in the next one, 1. Finny. All right, Finny. He loves his dinosaur friends, so I'll move the dinosaur. That might move the cat. Okay, so for row 2, you should have a total of 4 stitches in this row. Chain 1, and we're going to move to row 3. Row 3, we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2 in that stitch, and then 2 in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and 1 single crochet in the last stitch. And that should give us a total in row 3 of 6 single crochets. Okay, now we're ready for row 4. Chain 1 and turn your work. We're going to start with 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochets in the second stitch. So this is 1 and 2 in that second stitch. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 in 1 for 2 stitches. So here's 1 in 1 crochet, 1 in the next crochet, and now in the next crochet we're going to put 2, again 2 in the same stitch, 1 and 2, and in the last stitch we're going to put 1 single crochet. Make sure you get both legs of that stitch under your hook. Now you should have a total of 8 single crochets in this row. Now we're ready for row 5. Chain 1 and turn your work. 1 single crochet in the first single crochet. 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Now you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 single crochets. So 1 and 1 for 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in the next stitch we're going to put 2 single crochets. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And we're going to finish with 1 single crochet in the last stitch. That's going to give you a total of 10 single crochets in this row. All right, we're ready for row 6. You can see these move pretty quickly. You know what you're doing now. Chain 1 and turn your work. 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the second stitch. 1 and 2. Now you're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So that's 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now 2 in the next stitch together, 2 in the same stitch, 1 and 2. This is sometimes also referred to as an increase. And then 1 stitch in your last stitch, 1 single crochet. That means you should have a total of 12. Now for row 7 and row 8, you're going to work 1 stitch in each single crochet. So you're going to, at the end of both row 7 and 8, you should have 12 single crochets in that row. So just go ahead and work 1 and 1 all the way across and count when you get done for 12. And that's 2 rows, 7 and 8. And remember to count. Chain 1 and turn your work and do another row of 1 stitch, 1 single crochet in each stitch across for a total of 12. There you go. You've finished row 8. Now we're ready to start row 9. Chain 1 and turn your work. And we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first single crochet. Then we're going to single crochet 2 together. So go in 1 stitch, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. So 1 and 1 for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now you should have 3 stitches left. You're going to do another single crochet 2 together. So go in 1, pull up a loop, go in the next one, pull up a loop, 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and you've got 1 single crochet in the last stitch. This row should have a total of 10 stitches. Okay, you're ready for row 10. Row 10 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across, so you'll end with 10 single crochets in this row, and you'll do that again for row 11. So chain 1, turn your work, and 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across, ending with a total of 10 single crochets in this row. And count for 10. And we're going to chain 1 and turn our work and do that one more for one more row. 1 single crochet in each stitch across for a total of 10 in the row. And that's your 11th row. And now you're finished with the first side of your first spike. So you want to stop right here. You're going to make a fasten off knot and cut and leave with a short tail on this one. And then you're going to go ahead and work a second triangle just like this, but when you finish that 11th row, do not fasten off and do not cut. Wait and come back. That's where we'll pick up with you here in just a minute. And you need to make sure that you are putting your triangles together, that you can tell the difference between the beginning, which is the top right there, tail, and the end tail on the right hand side there. Okay, so go ahead, make another one just like that, but do not fasten off, and come back with us. All right, you should have 2 spikes here. One is completely finished and fastened off. The second one is completely finished but not fastened off. Okay, so at this point is where I began kind of changing the procedure of the pattern. So what we're going to do now is take your 2 spikes. Now make sure that you've got, come up just a hair here for you. Okay, make sure that you've got your beginning tails together. Actually, I want them this way. Okay, so the beginning tails are at the top of the spike, if you think of it this way, and that's how it's going to be. And you are still fastened here with your working yarn. Now, holding them together, you're going to crochet them together with a single crochet, and you're just going to go in anywhere on that back side, pull through, and yarn over. Now we're going to work all the way around this side. We're going to put 3 single crochets at the top peak, and when we do that, we're going to tuck those threads down inside where they're not going to be seen, and then we're going to go all the way down on the other side. We're not going to do anything to the bottom. So to begin, and you're just going to go in anywhere you can get your hook in to both and do a single crochet. And you want them to be pretty evenly spaced as best you can, but it really is just to define this spike and give it an edge, and to put the 2 halves together. So it's decorative as well as utilitarian. And you see how it's making an edge there. And do your best to just hold them together. You know, I like to look at it every once in a while, kind of like this, pull it back, see, do I need to adjust how I'm holding it so that they stay even? And you may, but don't worry about it. It's amazing how it comes out looking, even though you think, oh, I might have messed that up. Got to make sure you go through both. It can get a little hard on your hands. Now here we're coming up to the peak. Going to get a little more yarn out there, and I'm going to tuck down in those threads, and if you have trouble, you can always just pick up one and then the other. Okay, and now you can see we're at the top, and we want to put 3 single crochets in there right where we started. So there's 1. This is what's going to give you the nice peak on the top. 2, and they're all in the same space. 3. And see how you've got your edge here, and then that will come to a point. And now grab a hold, lining up your your ends here, and single crochet down this final side here. And it really doesn't matter how many you get in there, just as long as you keep going all the way down the side. There's no specific number. And with your hook, you can really kind of just feel where there's a good space for you to get your hook into. And go into that last stitch there, and give it a fasten off. And here you are going to leave a nice long tail for sewing all the way around this whole perimeter. So give yourself a good long tail there. And I'm throwing things on the floor. I'd rather have more tail and cut off yarn than not enough. So here you can see, here's the spike. It's going to sit on top of the dinosaur just like that. You've got your tail to sew with, and this little tail we're just going to tuck in as we sew the spike to the dinosaur. So here we go. We are going to be ready to bring Big Dino back up here and get his spikes on him. All right. To get ready to apply the spikes, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need your spikes. You're going to need some stuffing. You're going to need your needles. Try coming over here a little bit. Here, wait a minute. Oh, it's hard to get this whole big guy in the picture. Needles and some scissors. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to put a little bit of stuffing inside your spike. You don't want these spikes to collapse when this big guy's being loved and played with. So get them stuffed real good. That looks like it's about good enough. Okay, and then the next important part is where to put the spikes. You've got 5 spikes total, and right here is your narrowest point on the neck edge. So I come up about, maybe an inch, probably about 2 rows, and I'm going to sew the first spike right there down the center. Okay. Have him stay there for a second. Will he stay? And you're going to sew him exactly like you sewed the legs on and everything else that you've sewn. For some reason, I don't know why, sewing these spikes on, I have to take a break because they really kill my fingers. I don't know why, but they do. So we'll start with this first spike here, and you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna sew it down just as though it was a leg, and you're attaching it. So a couple stitches, it's up to you. I usually do 2 stitches and a knot, so that I get this guy really attached well. So again, here's my narrowest point. I'm going to come up about 2 rows and put him in the center, and you're going to just pick up some yarn from the body and some yarn from the spike and pull it through tightly. And you're just going to keep going around through every stitch that you can in the spike. Sometimes I get to a point where I just can't get a stitch in there. So go ahead and skip that. It's okay. Okay, as you can see, I've turned him around here, and I am currently sewing down the other side of the spike, just like before. Okay, and we're just stitching along here. Excuse me. Getting this last side of the spike attached. Oops, no, don't come undone. See, I picked up a little bit of the stuffing there. Oh well. And that's my last stitch there, so I like to take my yarn and weave it up into the spike and try to catch it in some stuffing if you can. Oh, I did. The stuffing actually kind of grabs onto the yarn and holds it, and then you can trim it flush right there. Now, hold on, let me hush my cat. I'll be right back. Now you're going to do the same thing with all of the spikes, but now here's the big question. Where do I put all the rest of the spikes? So let me see if you can see here. Here's the first spike is right here at the neck, and then I move the next spike I'm going to attach. I attach at his tail, and of course it needs to be stuffed, and I go about 2 to 4 rows from the tip of the tail and put one right there, and that's my next spike. Like I said, I have to take a break between spikes, so I won't be attaching this one, but that's about where it's going to be. Then I'm able to see here's one and here's one, and I'm going to take a spike and I want to put one right in the middle. Hold on, cat's still not happy. All right, so you can see here I've got one here at the tail, and I've got one way down here. You can't see them both on the neck. So, but if you visually sight those two, then you can put the third. Let me see if I can get them in here. There we go. Then look between the two, and that's in the center of those two is where the third spike is going to go. Yeah, they're not sewn on yet. And then it's really easy for the other two to be centered kind of in between. I just kind of lay them there in between the others, and that gives you a nice evenly spaced layout of your spikes. And guess what? You get all those stuffed and sewn on, and Big Dino is done. Congratulations, you have finished your first Big Dino. This is my third. I hope you continue on with as many dinos as you need. God bless and have a wonderful day.